Hello, we are live on the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page with a little Friday Light Delight. As you can see by my hat, it is December 22nd, so it is definitely feeling like Christmas time here in the state. Before I tell you about all the fun Christmas football games happening this weekend, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page. See not just this stream, but all the episodes of the Big D podcast. Speaking of the Big D podcast, you can see that if you're an audio viewer, Spotify and Apple, wherever you podcast. So, obviously, things are getting crazy. Just 3 days from the big day itself. See what Santa Claus brings for everybody, and all kinds of fun football games this weekend. Unlike last year, where seemingly every game was played in frigid weather, I don't think we're going to have a lot of bad weather games, although there could be some snow in Denver on Christmas Eve night. Yeah, Denver's seeing snow, but a lot of other games look pretty mild. Chicago looks fine. A lot of dome games too. In Atlanta, Houston, well, de facto domes in Tampa, Miami. So hopefully not a lot of bad weather games happening this weekend. But let's start with the Saturday games. That would be Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. And obviously we saw this a few weeks ago where the Steelers beat Jake Brown. I think one for another AFC North game. These games always seem to end up 20-17. I think we'll end up with a fairly low scoring game. I know the Bengals have won what, 3 in a row, but I think Cincinnati's run comes to an end. They got a couple big breaks. I mean, T. Higgins, not just with maybe the catch of the year, but an incredible effort reaching the ball across the goal line, and Ja'Marr Chase with some big plays. But not only are the Bengals without Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase, but Cincinnati's also without DJ Reader. And while DJ Reader's not the most important, maybe the biggest name, he might be the most important player because Reader could be Cincinnati's best run defender and helps with the pass rush. So that's going to limit what the Bengals do tomorrow afternoon. And the fact that Pittsburgh already faced Jake Browning means the Steelers have got a good game plan, and that Pittsburgh team's going to be annoyed because not only will the Steelers, it was bad against the Colts. There were a lot of discussion about the Steeler chemistry, whether the Steelers try hard, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson. I think the Steelers come out and make a statement. Now, whether or not the Steelers right the ship, make the playoffs, maybe keep Mike Tomlin from his first losing season, we'll see. I don't worry about Mason Rudolph as quarterback in Pittsburgh. He's been around the system a long time, and really for Pittsburgh, can the offensive line make plays? The Steelers run the ball, and somebody, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, make plays because the Steelers should win this game, especially without Burrow and Chase. So I think Pittsburgh wins. It's a low-scoring game. I think Pittsburgh wins 20-17. And then tomorrow night, Bills and Chargers. Man, I love this game more if Justin Herbert were playing, but the Bills not only won very impressively against the Cowboys, ran the ball a ton, and Josh Allen threw the ball 14, 15 times. While not great for fantasy, I don't think Bills Mafia gives a bleep how Buffalo wins. And forever and ever, everyone used to say, run the ball, play good defense. And maybe with Josh Allen, the Bills have to play like the early Steeler teams with Big Ben Roethlisberger. Run the ball, play good defense, and Big Ben make one or two plays a day. If the Bills run the ball full like that, James Cook looking like he's Jerome Bettis, O.J. Simpson, or Thurman Thomas, the Bills can end up in Vegas. And then Josh Allen doesn't have to be Superman every game. This is a game the Bills should win. I think Buffalo could end up with like 70-80% of the crowd tomorrow night. The Chargers are banged up. They've given up. Brandon Staley's gone. Justin Herbert is gone. Keenan Allen's, Joey Bosa playing. The Chargers are done. They're tanking. The Bills are flying high. And to be honest with you, I think this game could get ugly fast. I think Buffalo will look to punch LA in the mouth and make a statement. I think Josh Allen will throw the ball more, but Josh Allen throws the ball for 250 and the Bills run for 150. That's a good recipe for win too. And I mean, yeah, the Bills have got injuries, but you really think Easton Stick's being Josh Allen tomorrow night? No, I think Buffalo wins going away. Now on this Sunday, Detroit, Minnesota. About time these teams finally meet. I mean, Detroit and Minnesota meet 2 of the last 3 weeks. Obviously, the Lions are coming off an impressive win over the Broncos. Home Jared Goff, indoors, much different than road Jared Goff. So we'll see how dome Jared Goff is in Minneapolis. I think the Lions have to run the ball because when Jared Goff throws, when the Lions won in the throw, he's a different quarterback. When Jared Goff is throwing 45, 50 times, bad things happen. And, the Vikings come after him blindfolds, blitzes a lot. So I'm intrigued what happens. The Sam Laporta had the big day game like he did last week. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe Jameson Williams. And then look at Detroit's running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And then defensively for the Lions, can Detroit shut down Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson, and Jordan Addison? And then for the Vikings, I liked a lot what I saw from Mullins, but there were 3 or 4 bad decisions. I mean, Mullins was lucky he didn't throw 3 or 4 interceptions last week. I think the Vikings need to run the ball, keep Detroit's offense off the field, and limit Nick Mullins throwing passes to the other team. I think this could be a big TJ Hawkinson day. I don't know if Jefferson's 100%, but who is this time of year? Jordan Addison caught a long touchdown last week, so I think this game has got some scoring. No weather concerns in Minneapolis. I think both teams could put up 20, 25, 30 points. Sneaky shootout potential. Green Bay, Carolina. Yuck. Excuse me. But obviously for the Packers, I mean, Jordan Love's played really well the last 6 or 7 weeks, but Green Bay's losing wide receivers. I mean, Christian Watson's still dealing with his hamstring, probably not playing. I don't think Jane Reed's practiced this week, so he might not play in Charlotte. Aaron Jones, off the injuries report, so he's ready to go. Who knows if A.J. Dillon plays? I think Wicks might end up being Green Bay's number 1 receiver. And then for Carolina, I mean, the Panthers won last week, but it was an ugly 9-7 game. Bryce Young and the Panthers need help. I mean, I think Carolina will look to run the ball, Chuba Hubbard to get another 20, 25 touches. And then we'll see somebody makes the play. Mingo, or Dylan. I think this is a fairly low-scoring game. In Charlotte, I think you could see 21-14 kind of game. I think it's a low-scoring game. I like Green Bay to win. Seattle and Tennessee. How about that crazy game the Seahawks played on Monday night? I mean, outplayed, and Drew Lock made some of the plays of the year that DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba. So you wonder how the Seahawks come off that emotional high. Short week, long flight to Nashville. Now Geno back. So is Geno 100%? We'll see. Is he a big quarterback upgrade over? I don't know. And then for Tennessee, obviously Will Levis not playing, so Ryan Tannehill looks like he'll be under center. While Tannehill lacks the big play ability, he'll be a more precise passer. And Mike Vrabel's such a great underdog coach. I know everybody likes Seattle. I mean, the line's even gone to +3 and Seattle -3.5. I like Tennessee. This is a game Tennessee wins because Vrabel's such a great underdog coach. I think Tennessee wins this game 20-17. I don't think we'll see. I think we could see a few points. I'm not expecting either team in the high 20s, but somebody could put up 23, 24 points and wouldn't shock me. Indianapolis and Atlanta, boy. You know, based on talent, you would think the Atlanta Falcons should be where the Colts are in a potential playoff spot, but I think Shane Steichen and the Colts are maximizing their talent when the Atlanta Falcons don't. I mean, Gardner Minshew, my guy Gardner Minshew has played really efficiently no matter who's playing for the Colts. And it looks like Indianapolis should be getting some key guys back. Jonathan Taylor looks like he should be back. Zach Moss may or may not go. But Michael Pittman Jr. has cleared concussion protocol, so he's ready to rumble. And the Colts are coming off a very impressive win over the Steelers. Obviously, I don't think Indianapolis' defense is great, but the Colts can put up points. I mean, with JT and Pittman, two trustworthy guys, I would have no problem playing either guy this weekend. And for Atlanta, obviously a quarterback change. Desmond Ridder bench again. Taylor Heineke will start this weekend. Desmond Ridder's not good. And you look at it with Atlanta, how can the Falcons not be better with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson? Keenan Williams fumbled, twice last week, and Sean McVay still gave him, 25, 27 touches. And Bijan Robinson fumbles and doesn't play. I don't know. But the Falcons need to give their young stars the rock. Because I think Arthur Smith's coaching for his job in this game. I think the Falcon fans are PO'd with what happened last week. And the NFC South's wide open. It's not like there's a great team. I mean, nobody fears the Bucs now, even though Tampa can put up points. I think this game on that fast artificial surface in Atlanta has got some scoring potential, but again, will the Falcons show? Will they give Bijan Robinson the ball? Cleveland, Houston. Oof. Boy, this game has changed. I mean, how about Joe Flacco coming off his sofa and putting the Browns in a potential playoff position. I mean, Kevin Stefanski's definitely in Coach of the Year running. I mean, the Browns keep losing running backs, linemen, quarterbacks. It doesn't matter. I mean, Myles Garrett's definitely in the Defensive Player of the Year. And one thing Joe Flacco loves is his tight end. I mean, David Njoku has been a monster. If you played him the last 4 or 5 weeks, you've probably won. And of course, Amari Cooper, big play potential. And for the Texans, looks like CJ Stroud has not cleared concussion protocols, so it will be Case Keenum again against the Browns. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what we'll see. I think the Texans will try and run the ball and limit Myles Garrett's rushing the quarterback because if Myles Garrett's all over your quarterback, bad things happen. So I mean, I think this is a fairly low scoring game, but I mean, it could be low mid 20s. I mean, I would not be shocked if either team won this game. Washington Jets. Oh boy. You know, it'd be nice if the Commanders could get a defense, right? Because the Commanders couldn't stop anyone. I mean, Washington's defense is pathetic. And this week, I think the Jets are going to start Trevor Siemian because Zach Wilson's in concussion protocol. Maybe the Commanders will make Trevor Siemian into the second coming of Joe Willie Namath. But Washington's defense is bad. New York doesn't have a great offensive line or quarterback, so I think Sam Howell could eat MetLife Stadium's turf a few times in this game. I mean, Sam Howell's been under arrest, and we've seen more mistakes from Howell lately. We know changes are coming in DC. We know Ron Rivera's gone after this year. And depending on where the Commanders finish, maybe Howell too, if the Commanders got a top 2 or 3 pick for Caleb Williams or Drake May. And for the Jets, I do think Robert Saleh is potentially coaching Michelle. But, what happens there? We've got a Gets coming. We've got a Gets to discuss Jags Bucks with me. Ashley. Hey, Ashley, how things going?
Hi, Dylan. I'm doing well. And yourself?
Oh, never better.
Sorry I'm a little late. It's been a long day. I apologize.
I mean, with everything going with the holidays, you're actually right in the perfect time. I'm just ready to discuss Jags Bucks with you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me on with you this afternoon.
Yeah, I was just thinking, how the I don't remember Baker Mayfield ever playing this well in Cleveland.
Well, I think he had a really good season when they took him to the playoffs for the first time in a long time. But, I mean, after his shoulder injury, things kind of went downhill for him. And I think he was playing hurt. So I think this is the first time in a long time he's been healthy and has had a decent supporting cast since his time in Cleveland.
And you also look at a team that believes in him, a team that lets him do what he wants. I mean, Kevin Stefanski's offense can be very difficult to run, but in Tampa, it's like I'll let him play, and I'll tell you, I don't know what's with the Bucks in Green Bay. Like nobody gave the Bucks a chance to win there, and all of a sudden, I'm like Baker's throwing long touchdowns. I'm like, this game's over.
Yeah, I think it's the best game that we've seen from Baker this year. I think it's the best game that we've seen from the play caller and Dave Canales, and I think it's the best game that Todd Bowles has managed all year. I think everything just kind of clicked at the same time that game last week, so it was definitely a glimpse of what the team can be in my mind. But it's more so now a question of can they continue to be that efficient?
Do you, do you ultimately think that part of the reason why Baker Mayfield's doing so well is that Mike Evans, no matter who the quarterback is, seemingly gets 1,000 yards with anybody?
I don't know if I wouldn't say that that's the reason why he's doing so well. I would attribute it to kind of like I hinted earlier that he's finally healthy. Like you said, he has a team that is rallying around him and believes in him. The coaching staff believes in him. And I think they're just letting him play Baker Mayfield football. But it definitely doesn't hurt to have a guy who's consistent, getting 1,000 yards every season, like you mentioned, with any quarterback back there. It doesn't matter who it is. It seems like he always produces at a high level.
How about Rashad White? I mean, a lot of people wondering could he step into the into the Tampa backfield without Leonard Fournette. Rashad White's been a monster.
Yeah, he's been amazing this season. I think that towards the end of the year, he was the better back in 2022, and it was only a matter of time before he had, the full backfield to himself. It was kind of a question on if they would give him the full backfield, if the coaching staff and the front office believed he could be the guy, and I think he's proved everybody right. He has over 1,300 yards from scrimmage. He has a chance to go over 1,000 yards for the first time as a Buccaneer since Doug Martin. So I mean, he's done a lot with a little. I mean, the offensive line's very young and very new, and they're still trying to mesh together. So he's really broken out into a superstar in the making if he continues on the path.
Also, I also think Tampa's offensive line been largely intact this year?
Um, Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been decently healthy. Tristan Wirfs has been dealing with an injury for the last few weeks, but Luke Gedicke's kind of settled into his role at right tackle. They moved Matt Feeler out and put in Aaron Stinney, who I believe should have won the job outright, but he got hurt in the preseason. And then you have a guy like Cody Mock, who is a rookie who had some growing pains, but he's really come into his own. So I think it's a mix of them being healthy overall for the most part and also starting to gel with such a young offensive line.
What's up with Devin White? Because it seemed like I thought he was going to play, and then he didn't play last week. Like, what the heck happened with Devin White last week?
So there's a lot of speculation as to what really went on. From what I've been told and what I've seen through the national media, and also the media within Tampa with Greg Allman and Rick Scott and all the rest of them, it sounds like to me, and even Richard Sherman, it sounds like to me he found out he wasn't going to be the starter and that they were going to start KJ Britt as the base linebacker and have Devin White come in a nickel package, and he wasn't having it. He practiced all last week and then at the last moment said he couldn't go. So it's really all about who you believe in that situation. Um, you could say that maybe he was just having a lot of pain and couldn't go, or you could say that maybe he just wasn't happy with the idea of not being the starting linebacker. I mean, he's had a lot of cryptic posts and a lot of just really questionable and concerning behavior at times with how he interacts with other teams and requesting a trade. So it's really up in the air into how you determine it. But that's the two sides that I've heard.
Could it also be that Devin White didn't get a big deal in the off season?
I mean, it'd be kind of weird for him to sit out now towards the end of the season for that, especially with them, having a shot to win the South. It really wouldn't make a lot of sense if that was the case. And if it is the case, it's kind of crazy. I think it's more so his play has just been so bad. And he blames his foot for that. And maybe that is the issue. But there's just times where he seems like he's not putting in the effort and he's getting outplayed by KJ Britt, who, is a backup linebacker and is not missing the tackles that he's missing. He's not over pursuing like Devin does. And it's just kind of been night and day having a backup outplay you. It can't sit well with him. So I expect to see if he plays, a really determined Devin White, but we'll see, I guess, what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, do you ultimately think that Trevor Lawrence is playing? Because you know me being the Jag fan, I'm like, I have no idea whether or not Trevor's playing.
I don't know. That's a great question because at first, yesterday, it seemed like there was no chance at all. But then I heard today that he was practicing and that Doug Peterson thought he wasn't going to have any kind of restriction. So I don't know. He still has to clear concussion protocol, which is not easy to do in a week. There's not a lot of times where players, especially, quarterbacks, can come back from a concussion in 1 week. It's very rare to do so and have them be at 100%. But I think with the division title on the line for the Jaguars and a playoff spot, if there's any chance that he can play, I think he does play. So with the development that we've seen today from Doug Peterson, I think there's a chance he goes. I'd give it 60-40 that he does right now.
I'm thinking 55-45. So you and I
On the same page.
and plus Trevor hasn't missed a game due to the injury. The only games he missed were the COVID a couple in college.
Yeah, that would be his first game. You're absolutely right.
How do you see the this game going? Because with how each team's played, I expect a lot of passing.
What was that? I'm sorry.
With how both teams have played, I expect a lot of passing this game because Jaguars are like fourth in passing, and last and Tampa's a pass heavy team too. So I expect a lot of passing on Sunday.
Yeah, I think both defenses through the air are at the bottom end of the league. When it comes to that, I think they both are not the best against the pass. So I would expect, maybe not a high scoring game, but a lot of yards gained between the two of them. Um, it's really going to determine who can get in the end zone and not, not only convert field goals, but touchdowns as well. It's definitely going to be a battle. I mean, both teams are fighting for their division title. Both teams are fighting for the playoffs. So it's going to be one of those playoff atmosphere games where, who wants it more? There's players on both teams that are a little banged up, and you just have to see who steps up and who mans up and who shows out to play.
By the way, the Bucks are the second Wolves pass defense. Jacksonville fourth Wolves pass defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means.
Lots of yards.
But if you saw Sunday Night Football last week, and trust me, I did, and I wanted to throw up with how that first half went.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely didn't look good for the Jaguars. I mean, it feels like Trevor Lawrence has kind of been trying to play hero ball a little bit too much. And, he's great. He's one of the best young quarterbacks in the league right now. He's had some injuries this year, and that happens, but he's still one of the best. He went number one overall for a reason. So they just have to, rally back because now losing 3 straight in Jacksonville, you're on the brink of not only not winning your division, but also not making the playoffs. So I believe it's a must win for both teams this week.
Because seemingly nobody wants to win the NFC South like the New Orleans Saints. Like the New Orleans Saints can't figure out how to win a big game.
Yeah. I don't know. Derek Carr was never the answer in my mind.
Maybe Dennis Allen's not the answer either.
I agree, but as a Bucks fan, I think they should extend him.
You probably would say the same for Arthur Smith too.
Oh yeah, Arthur Smith, great head coach, 10-year extension at least, and keep Bijan on the sideline. He doesn't have to come in the game. Let him be fresh.
What didn't the Falcons get fined for not disclosing the Bijan illness against you guys in week 7?
Yeah, actually, today I think Arthur Smith got fined 50,000, and the team got fined 75,000 or something like that. The whole situation was crazy.
Yeah, and like everybody, and like we all play fantasy, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like And it's like, why didn't you tell us before the game Bijan wouldn't play? It's like, now what?
Yeah, I think Bijan's been one of the most disappointing, high hype players for fantasy this year. I'm glad I didn't draft him. I was upset when I didn't draft him, but now I'm glad it didn't work out.
Yeah, I was thinking like I drafted Bijan once or twice in best one. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't draft him more. I mean, I drafted in my 2 Yahoo leagues. I drafted Saquon, Devontae Adams first 2 rounds in one, and then Saquon and CeeDee Lamb in the other one.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Devontae Adams doesn't have a quarterback in Vegas, and Saquon's a shocker.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take a risk on some of the guys who, aren't on the best of teams, but they're players through and through.
Who do you think on the Jags worries you on Sunday?
Who on the Jags worries me on Sunday? Are we talking offense or defense?
Offense.
I know Zay Jones isn't playing. I know Christian Kirk is out. So I'd say probably Ridley. Calvin Ridley is definitely, coming into his own.
If he could catch the ball right.
I mean, when he does, though, he makes some crazy plays. I almost went with Trevor Etienne, but I know the Bucks have one of the best run defenses in the league. So, and they've shut down just about everybody this year. So I don't expect him to go off against us. But if there's anyone that's going to have a big day, it would be Calvin Ridley.
Is the Momo playing on Sunday? Is Vita Vea back?
Yep, Vita Vea is back this week.
I can't. I remember that play Vita Vea made last year where he sacked Matthew Stafford and then started his lawnmower.
Oh man,
That's a. I mean, be honest with you. I think this is a heavy pass game. I think Kate Otten could be a mismatch. I mean, depending on who's playing for the Jags, because Jacksonville couldn't stop the tight end, whether his name or Kellen Winslow, Kate Otten, Rob Gronkowski. We couldn't stop any tight end right now.
Oh wow, yeah, that's not something that I've thought about. I think that could definitely be a mismatch. I also think that I don't know if it'll be Mike Evans this week or if it'll be Chris Godwin, especially after the game he just had against the Packers. 155 yards, 10 touches. I mean, he had a monster game. He finally looked like the guy that we've been seeing the past 4 years since he's been in the league. If he can build off that, it's going to be, tough to stop.
Yeah, hopefully Tyson Campbell plays because when Campbell played last year, he was a baller. The problem is he hasn't played.
Is he dealing with an injury at this point?
Quad injury.
And he's still questionable, I'm guessing?
Yep.
So, yeah, tomorrow we'll probably know more about who is in and who is out.
Yeah, we'll know whether or not Trevor's traveling to Jackson. I'm like, why are teams flying from Jacksonville to Tampa? That doesn't make sense. You could get there in 2.5 hours.
Take a bus ride, see the scenery, kick back a little bit.
I mean, the Bears and Packers always take bus rides from Green Bay to Chicago and vice versa.
It may also be because of all the traffic with the holiday, too.
Hello? Can I get a police escort from Jacksonville to Tampa, please? I'm sure we could get.
I mean, that's true.
Then again, you could get there in 45 minutes anyway.
Yeah, they're not too far apart, right? What is it, like 2-3 hours?
Yeah. Not quite Jets Giants where they play in each other's stadium.
Which is still so crazy to me. I don't know why they do that.
I don't know, but be easy. You only need 30 stadiums, not 32, right?
You got to cut costs somewhere.
What's up with the NFC South right now? Like, I thought this. I mean, a lot of people thought the Saints won because of that talent, but we've seen Derek Carr make too many mistakes, and the Saints coaching staff not good. Bryce Young seemingly can't complete a pass to a wide receiver, and Desmond Ritter's bad.
Yeah, I mean, the South is what it is, and it is what it was last year. They're just the teams are very young. The teams are in the midst of rebuilding. I mean, Atlanta really cut a lot of dead weight last year to add a lot of young guys. They did a great job in the offseason of trying to bolster their defense, and it's worked out. I think they're like the 4th ranked defense overall. So, I mean, they have that going for them. But Desmond Ritter just really isn't the answer. Taylor Heineke, I believe, is the better quarterback in their room, in their on their team, but he just doesn't get the opportunity, and their wide receivers really aren't that great. Kyle Pitts is still kind of not used the way he should be. Uh, I don't know. It's just they're missing pieces on the offense, and until it gets fixed, until they stop trying to be a run team for 30 reps a game, it's not going to change. The
Missing a quarter.
Saints, it's awful. It's awful. And the Saints, I don't know. I have no idea why you would give Derek Carr $150 million. I have no idea. But all their team is old. They have crazy contracts. They're $97 million over the cap next year. It's time to blow it up. It's not getting done. They tried to go all in this season with Derek Carr, and it didn't work out. And now they can't move his contract without giving up a huge chunk of dead money. They have 3 players making $23 million or more next year that they can't cut, restructure, or trade because they'll still have over $10 million each in dead cap. They're done. They have to restart and try and rebuild. And then the Panthers, I think, took the wrong quarterback. I have said from day one that CJ Stroud was a better quarterback over Bryce Young. He's too tiny. People said it didn't matter. It does. He has horrible accuracy. He has no weapons. They set him up to fail, and he should have never been the first overall pick in my mind. So Tampa is kind of, the one team who has at least something going for them. I mean, they have a young defensive line. Their top 3 picks are contributing. Kalijah Kancey has 4 sacks. Yaya Diaby has 5 sacks. Cody Mock is starting at the right tackle or the right guard position. So those top 3 picks are combined for 9 sacks and a starting right guard. I mean, you really can't ask for anything better than that. So it comes down to really managing your contracts and drafting. And if you look at all the teams in the South, the team that's had the most studs come out of their last 3 drafts is Tampa. And it's worked out for them in a way. I mean, they're in no way, in my mind, competing for a Lombardi this year. They'll make the playoffs, I think, but there are teams far and head and shoulders above everybody else, like the 49ers and the Eagles when they get their shit together, and the Ravens and stuff like that. But Tampa has a chance to build something this year to compete next year when they have more cap and draft picks and can re-sign guys. So I think it's just more so a mismanagement of these teams as to why they kind of haven't taken that next step, and Tampa hasn't, bottomed out after the Super Bowl. They really have done a nice job of managing contracts and keeping guys here, and taking this year to eat Brady's dead cap all into one time, so they're not having to further on down the line be cap constricted.
Do you think Baker Mayfield could be Tampa's long-term starting quarterback? Was this just a one-year wonder?
I don't know. I've been asked that a lot this week, and the issue for me is the consistency. He had a great game last week. Probably one of his best in his career and the best in a Bucs uniform. But can he continue to do it? The Packers have a decent defense, and the Jags have a decent defense. So it's more so I need to see him take over the game. I need to see him command the field. When he gets hit, when he throws an interception, makes a mistake, he can't turn into a turtle and hide and be scared and be hesitant because that's when he messes up. That's when they lose the game. So if he can become that leader, if he can continuously be precise and make decisions and write the right passing, then yes. But these last 3 games or 2 games are gonna really determine it. If they win the South, if they win these last 2 games, 3 games, then yeah, I definitely think he could be. I was off of it the last few weeks, but I mean they've strung 3 wins together in a row. I mean they're leading the South right now. They have a chance to do something that no one gave them a chance to do at the beginning of the season. So I would say ask me again after the Jags game. We'll see how that goes first because, I mean, it's really 50-50 for me right now. I mean, after that Packers game, the performance that he had, I mean, I'd say it's maybe 60-40 that yes, but he has to be consistent. He can't go out at the end of the year like he did the first couple games.
No, I mean Baker. I mean after Baker fumbled, I seen I saw that fumble and I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well. And then all of a sudden it's like boom, boom, boom. I'm like Baker's a different guy. Now maybe he's healthy. Maybe he's finally got some capable weapons. And Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Rashad White.
What's
You there?
there in Tampa? You have 30 putting up 1,000 yards. Chris Godwin's finally healthy. Rashad White is, the future of that backfield. So they have the offensive pieces they need. It's more so just being consistent and putting it all together.
Yeah, and this is a huge game because both our teams need. I mean, you guys are trying to win the NFC South. All guys are trying to win the AFC South, and seemingly, it could be backup quarterbacks galore in all division, and your division might be survival of the no quarterback division. Well,
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a huge game for both teams. I mean, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. It's not going to feel like a regular Week 16, Week 15 game. There's so much on the line. It's all or nothing for both teams this week.
hey, the good news is at least we're not playing. At least we're not playing in below 0 win.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, I prefer playing in Tampa over Lambeau.
Playing in Lambeau is tough. I mean, I did not expect the game to go the way it did last week at all.
Hey, the last couple of trips for the Lambeau against the Packers have gone pretty well for your Bucks.
Surprisingly, I had no faith that year in the Super Bowl. I was like, we're going to Lambeau Field against Aaron Rodgers, the MVP. This might be where it ends. And it was a great game and one that I'll never forget.
Yeah, and the Green Bay defense forgetting about Scotty Miller.
Yeah, he's a Falcon now. And I mean, good for him. He kind of got buried on the depth chart, but I hope he does well, just not against us.
Yeah, you know what will probably happen this weekend? Taylor Heineke will throw Scotty Miller a long touchdown pass, and we're like, what the... I'm not going to say.
That would be how it works typically, yes.
Or like the third string, or like who's the third string running back in Atlanta? Cordero Patterson will score another touchdown.
Yeah, that was awful. Why is Cordero Patterson getting red zone touches? Why?
Let's see. You drafted Bijan Robinson with the 8th pick. Why isn't he on the field? Let's see. The Detroit Lions drafted Jahmyr Gibbs with the 12th pick. Who's on the field for Detroit? Oh yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs. I think it would help. He's been good.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could have had much bigger role and much bigger impact if they used him at the beginning. But hey, I'm not a head coach for a reason. It's not my job.
Yeah, you're not buying kneecaps like Dan Campbell either.
Yeah, no kneecaps here. I'm all good on kneecaps.
I mean, it's gonna be a wacky game. I love these Florida teams battling. all three Florida teams will be playing basically at the same time Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it's a weird game to have at a 4:05 kickoff, but hey, again, I don't make the scheduling, so it is what it is.
Yeah, if I'm in the schedule, Baltimore, Miami Sunday night next week, but it's Green Bay, Minnesota.
I think it's still going to be a good game. I mean, both of those teams have really kind of picked it up lately.
I mean, it's Jordan Love and Nick Mullins next week. Really?
Yeah, but you got Jordan. You got oh my God, Justin Jefferson. You got Christian Watson probably be back. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, Jordan Addison. The defenses, the running backs, even So I think it'll be a good game, divisional game. Those games, all divisional games, are always closer than you think.
What? Wait, you wanted Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler running up the score?
Hey, I mean, it's a good. If it's a good game, if it's entertaining, then yeah, I watch all the games.
So you're gonna watch tomorrow night when the Bills dismantle the Chargers in LA?
Yeah, I'll be watching.
How big of a favorite are the Eagles against Tommy DeVito and the Giants?
I mean, it's the Eagles. I mean, they've been struggling, but it's still the Eagles. I think that's going to be their get-right game, where everything kind of starts getting back to normal.
Yeah, everybody being in Philly cheesesteak instead of whatever Tommy DeVito's mother's making.
Cutlets.
Let me tell you this. I don't want to play the Rams in the first round if I'm you.
Yeah, the Rams look great. I mean, they've really put it together. Matt Stafford is having a great year. Kyron Williams has been an absolute stud. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, they're just balling right now. They're hot. They're getting it together. They're putting the pieces together, even when their defense is a little, off kilter. So they're a hot, dangerous team at the right time.
By the way, my friend got a DK. Friend still got a DK best ball millionaire team left, and guess who's the only one in his pod with Puka Nacua?
Him, I'm guessing.
Yes, he and I were messaging each other throughout the game. I think Puka ended up with 36 DK points last night.
Oh my!
Not bad, huh?
Not at all.
Oh, and by the way, on Yahoo, his opponent started Puka and Cooper Kupp.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, like I had 40 teams going into last week, and then only one of them survived week 15.
Wow. Yeah, last week was rough for a lot of people with their team.
Yeah, especially if you drafted Cowboys or Jaguars, or like if you drafted Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, you're chilling. Or if you drafted the Lions, you're chilling. You still there?
I'm listening.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, if there were one game you could see besides all game, what would it be? And I think I know what it would be.
Oh man. For Sunday's games,
Yeah.
I really don't know who's playing. Can you run out a list real quick?
Cleveland, Houston, Indianapolis, Atlanta, Green Bay, Carolina, Dallas, Miami. Let me see who else playing. New England, Denver, Arizona, Chicago.
I mean, it sounds like Cowboys and Miami are going to be the best game on Sunday outside of ours.
It'd be the game so we could see shootouts.
Yeah, it's. That's gonna be a great game. I think they match up really well against each other, so that'll be one to watch.
Plus, I think Tyreek Hill plays.
Mm-hmm.
Although
Yes.
the Dolphins didn't need him last week, but then again, the Jets offense should be relegated to Canada.
Yeah, that Jets offense is awful. It's bad. It's real bad.
The Jets offense couldn't score, didn't know how to score, didn't try to score last week. It made Iowa. I don't know if you watch college football, but the Jets offense made Iowa's offense look like 2019 LSU.
Yeah. I mean, I love college football. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of different divisions and teams, but man, some of these college teams, sometimes I feel like they can compete with some of these other teams that are on the bottom of the barrel. I don't know.
Who's your college team?
I'm a Bulldogs fan.
Oh, I'm sure you're mad.
It is what it is. I mean, you can't win them all. Can't win all the championships.
Hey, hey, at least you could spread out a few championships. Let some of these other teams have a chance, right?
There you go. See, you can't win them all. I'll take my 2 and keep them in pocket for a later date.
I can guarantee you this: there's one team you hope doesn't win in Houston, in Pasadena.
What's that?
Alabama.
I don't think they're gonna win.
I actually think Michigan wins. I think it'll be close, but I think Michigan's better quarterback. Michigan's got to win one of these games, right?
Eventually, yeah, you would think.
Although Nick Saban, Jim Harbaugh in Pasadena, that's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy one for sure.
I might watch that game to see how many times both coaches go ballistic.
Oh, the over/under's got to be at least 5.
You mean 5? You mean 5 before warm-up start? So thanks for hopping on, Ashley. Safe travels, and where are you heading this evening?
I'm headed back to the spot now to get some dinner, and chill down for the rest of the night. But again, thank you so much for having me on. It was a blast. Send me your link or wherever you post it at whenever it's all ready, and I'll post it out for you.
All right, it's actually a stream, but I'll send you on the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page.
Okay, yeah, just send me the link in the DM and I'll post it for you. Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Have a great rest of your evening.
You too. Whew, that was a little longer than I thought it was going to be, but some other games, I like Dallas over the Dolphins. I think the Cowboys are steaming with what happened in Orchard Park, and I don't know what to think of Miami. Dolphins haven't beat a big time team. Yeah, Miami beat Justin Herbert, but we know the Chargers show. Arizona, Chicago. I really like Arizona. I think the Cardinals play hard. The Cardinals lack talent. And there's a ton of pressure on the Bears because I think Matt Eberflus, the coach, for his job. Justin Fields is playing for his job. And I really like Arizona. I don't think the weather will be too bad in Chicago. So I like the Bears, New England, Denver. Could be some snow. I think Denver wins, but it's a super low total. I think it's an ugly, sloppy game. And then on Christmas Day, like the Chiefs, like the Eagles, I think San Francisco beats the Ravens, but 6 points probably too much to give up. So I think it's in for a great Christmas holiday of football, family, and fun. So thanks for tuning into the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page tonight. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We'll see you around the corner.